Welcome back, everybody. Today I've got something that I've been waiting to get my hands on for literally weeks. And I guarantee most of you aren't going to be half as excited as I am about this. This is a new Braun screw-in shop light rated for 8,000 lumens that I picked up at Harbor Freight, and it looks like I accidentally grabbed one somebody had opened the box on already because it got taped shut. Screw-in shop light. Pretty straightforward thing, but pretty important to me. And the reason for that is that I'm hoping it will do a couple of things. Number one is potentially replace our existing lights in the studio. And number two, I might use one in my garage anyway. Now, I know this is a little different. It's not smart or anything like that, which we usually review things that have some kind of additional functionality beyond just being a light bulb. But I was excited about this one and its studio equipment, so we're going to at least do an unboxing, probably not a full real review. The real review will be if I go purchase a second one and it ends up being my studio lights. So let's see. 8,000 lumens rated on the box, 360 degree light output, 50,000 hours of life. 10 times more light than a 60-watt bulb. No shock there. Temperature is rated at 5100 kelvins. That's actually right about what our studio lights are rated for. I think they usually come in closer to 5500 kelvins if I do a white spot check when editing, but there's variance in how everybody measures that. Some aluminum panels. It's fanless. It's got these adjustable wings on it. And yeah, so this is sold by Braun, distributed by Harbor Freight. I picked this up at my local Harbor Freight. This was not sent in for review. I quite literally walked into the store and grabbed it off the shelf. So let's go ahead and open this up. And hopefully whoever had got ahead of me and tried to open up the box didn't do too much damage. Alright, so this just kind of slides in the box. No booklets or anything. Somebody took that. Well, that's what happens when you buy things at retail. That's on me. I should have checked that the book was in there when I bought it. Alright, so we quite literally have 3 cob panels, and then we've got little DC power cables to them, standard socket. I've got an on-off switch on the side. Alright, so first impression is that I like the design. Let me grab one of our existing studio lights for comparison. These monsters are what we use today. And they're not so dissimilar in design, although these retail for about $100. I got mine because somebody ordered the wrong bulbs for a project and couldn't return them. I probably would not have purchased these for the studio myself. I probably would have gone along with what I had originally been using, which was these E-top lighting. I think these are like 30-watt LED bulbs, and each one of these has its advantages and disadvantages. So these, there's no diffusion built in, very harsh light. I have basically Chinese lanterns on both of the ones in my studio so that I don't get too much harsh light out of them. And you can see that is not a regular socket. So I have to use these adapters. They're big, they're heavy. All in, let's get the scale out. I don't even know what this scale's rated for, but I'm going to... Oh, max is 0.5 kilogram. So we're set for grams. And that weighs in at 848 grams with the adapter. This Braun light actually feels a bit lighter, even though I know it has aluminum panels in it. And in fact weighs in at 646 grams. So that's lots less stress on my light fixtures here. I mean, that's about 150 grams less, 200 less. Part of the reason for that is part of this is plastic. So there is an AC to DC converter in here, typically, and some sort of power distribution, and that's all hidden in this plastic shell. And then we do have aluminum panels for heat distribution, but those are on the LEDs themselves, which are what is going to be the hot part. Out of curiosity, this little E-top lighting bulb weighs in at 241 grams. These are, potentially I could use 3 or 4 of these in here, but since I had the Satco bulbs already, I wasn't going to buy more of those when I had these monsters. Alright, so scale out of the way, let's do a couple of different things. Let's plug it in and see how it looks. Temperature wise, diffusion wise. I only bought the one, so who knows? Maybe I'll run right out and buy a second, or maybe I'll decide that it's not good enough for the studio and I'll, I don't know, throw it in the shop. You know, what it's for. That's going to be in the way. All right. So, off the bat, that is bright as hell. But what I don't see, and what I had a lot of issues with on the Satco bulbs, is that it's fairly diffused. I don't have a lot of harsh points on here. And that's probably not super easy to see. But what we're going to do is I'm going to turn off my existing studio lights and kind of hold this where one of them is. You can see the light is slightly harsher. Part of that is because of the way the panels are set up right now. Like that would actually be closer to how I'd light the studio. And this is all working without that China ball Chinese lantern that I have on the existing Satco bulbs. To the point, and let's bring those back on. That's not too far off from the existing with that. And just to bring home the point there, this is the lighting pattern from one of these Satcos. Very direct. Lots of hot spots that I can see. And it doesn't do a good job of filling the space nearly as well without an additional diffusion element in it. And part of that, and I don't know if this is going to come through on camera, is the lenses are clear. I know it's weird I'm saying a clear lens is a bad thing on a light bulb, but the lenses are clear. And because the lenses are clear, you get a shadow from every single LED that is used in this assembly. And inside my studio, that's a bad thing. You know, you want as few shadows as possible. And I still get more than I want. You know, there's a shadow cast right here by the C stand that's holding the camera. Just because it's in front of the light relative to the shooting surface. So overall, there's that. I think I actually am inclined to go get a second one of these. But I'm going to throw this in place of one of my Satco lamps and see how it does during the next couple of videos. I might even go as far to get 3 of them, because I have one of these right now as my entry-exit bulb. Just, that's not part of my studio lighting. And I might use that. I'm not going to tear this one down because I'm worried about damaging the electronics in here, and I'm intending to use it basically in the next 20 minutes. However, if you want me to go buy one and tear it apart, let me know in the comments below. And we'll see about either taking this one apart when I've got a little more time to not use it, or getting one specifically for the purpose of doing that. Hey, I do want to add one thing while I'm waiting for the other Satco bulb to cool down that I forgot to mention, is that the Braun bulb did take a small hit in the realm of efficiency. And I guess considering its price point, which is like 30 bucks, yeah, $29.99, something had to give. I mean, it produces more light, it seems to produce good light, and it's rated for the same life. So with this at about 100 bucks last I checked, and this at 30, well, something's got to give. And basically at 8,000 lumens, it pulls about 80 watts from the wall. At 5,000 lumens, these Satco bulbs pull about 40 watts from the wall. So that means these produce 1250 lumens per 10 watts. And these produce 1,000 lumens per 10 watts. Not the end of the world. I mean, it's still an LED bulb. It's not like I have an 8,000 lumen incandescent, which would be 3 or, well, probably closer to like 500 watts in here. But it is something to bear in mind that this is roughly, wattage-wise, the equivalent of a 75 watt bulb. And there's a couple of fixtures, not many, that you'll find that this thing will fit in, where that's just suboptimal. In fact, let's go ahead and bring that in. What's great is that I can adjust these little panels. Although I had those on the Satco as well. Yeah, that looks great. That was it. Just wanted to interject that. Anyway, I know this was a little bit outside of our normal, since this is, you know, just a light bulb. And I want to thank everyone for watching. As always, I want to thank Electrics for providing our opening and closing themes. And I want to thank anyone who helps support Pocketables. It is support like that that makes me see an item and say, hey, this will let me make better videos for everyone. Let me go get it. So, you know, it's support like that that helps make all of this possible. Once again, thank you for watching.